I'm Sean Bartley for the Comics Pals here live at New York Comic Con 2017. It's Sunday. We're trying to wrap up. Everyone's tired. But I've got one last interview to do, and I'm so excited to do it with the wonderful Gail Simone. How's it going, Gail?
Oh my gosh, this has been a tremendous weekend. All the readers have been really friendly, and we've been talking about Crosswind all weekend and Wonder Woman versus Conan, which is, amazing. People have been donating to the Fund for Puerto Rico, so I'm really proud of the comics community for stepping up, and we're going to be able to donate at least a little bit to help, and it's just been fantastic.
Yeah, so the first thing I want to talk about is your Puerto Rico donations that people have been giving. You've been accepting them, and you're gonna translate that over. What has the reaction been like to you doing that? And has the comics community united to support this this opportunity that you guys have?
Yeah, they really have. I think we're going to we were over 800 yesterday for, and considering that I run to panels and run all over, so don't have the donation bin out all the time. And I really think we're going to get over $1,000 to Lin-Manuel's charity that he recommended. And that makes us all feel really good because we all want to help. But, people that have donated, a lot of them have family members and friends in Puerto Rico. So I've heard a few stories, and it's heartbreaking, but everybody seems to have made it through pretty well. We just need to get them water and help with the cleanup and all those kinds of things. So that's what we're trying to do.
And the truth is that everything helps, right?
Oh, yeah, it does. One bottle of water can mean a lot to somebody.
So we're here for Comic-Con. Let's talk a little bit about something fun. I am a massive fan of your Wonder Woman work.
Oh, thank you.
You've got Wonder Woman Conan out now. How's that been going?
It's been going fantastic. People are loving it. They have a lot of questions because only #1 is out so far, and we're building a really interesting, fun story. And you can't argue with how gorgeous it looks. Aaron Lopresti is just, I know, from working with him before, I knew he loved drawing barbarian characters, and I knew he loved drawing Wonder Woman. And you put it together, and I don't know what happened, but it's fireworks.
That's awesome. Now, the Wonder Woman movie obviously came out this past summer. I loved it. Everyone seems to have loved it. What was your opinion on it, and why do you think it penetrated the way that it did?
My opinion on it was I can't even explain how happy I was, because the terror is to have a female superhero movie come out and have it not be successful, or have it not be good, or not reach people, because then it's harder to make the next one. So that was one of my main concerns, and now, of course, that's just been totally blown to pieces. Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot and the whole team proved that they can have a successful female-led movie with a strong character that's well-rounded and three-dimensional. And I loved, usually I'm deconstructing everything, and it's hard for me to actually enjoy a movie. But this one, the first time through, I just was glued to the screen, and all the decisions that were made. Like, I always have little gripes and complaints about things because, this is what I am. But all the decisions that were made, from who played the Amazons to the costuming to allowing scars to show to allowing Wonder Woman to have many facets to her character and not just be a warrior or just be a daughter or just be an Amazon, and really see that someone who is considered the best warrior in the universe basically is compassionate. And if we are going to have a warrior of her caliber, that she needs to be compassionate, otherwise we're just going to be in real trouble. So I loved seeing all of those things, and then of course down to the acting and just the directing, all of it just was so perfect. And I guarantee you that movie is a game changer, and it's not only a game changer for what gets to be produced in Hollywood now, but it's a game changer for young and teen and women who saw this film. It's a game changer for young boys and teen boys and young teen men who saw this. And, I think it's going to change a lot about what people think is sexy and what people think, you don't need to talk down to an audience when you have a female character leading the film. So I could not be happier, seriously. Can't wait for the second one.
That's fantastic. So what are some of your hopes for the second one?
I hope that we just get to see more into her character, more into her intellect, and we saw a lot of her compassion and the warrior part of her in this last film. I still want to see more of that. I really want to see more Amazons. I don't know if we will because they're setting it in a modern setting, but if they don't do it this time, maybe next time, or maybe a separate movie, who knows? But I want to see her really plan and orchestrate rather than, like in this film, we saw her heart rush into battle. I'd like to see her brain, consider how to get a mission accomplished.
Absolutely, and I think Wonder Woman is such a multifaceted character. There are so many ways you can go with her, and that's one of the great things about the character.
That's exactly right, and that's what I'm hoping that the films show, because that has been a problem with her character throughout time, in my opinion, is she hasn't been written as a full character like we see Superman and Batman.
So you wrote Red Sonja, which I had never heard of the character before you took on the book. But I'm such a big fan of yours that I decided to give it a chance. I fell in love with the character, and I kept reading after you left the book. What was fun about writing her?
Oh my gosh, it is so fun. See, I didn't know that much about her either. I thought that she was, I knew Robert E. Howard had created her. I knew there was a movie that I didn't like that much, and I knew that I'd seen Red Sonja airbrushed on the side of a stoner van, and so I'm like, I don't know what I have to offer to this character. And my mom nagged me into it because it turns out she's a huge fan of Red Sonja. So I said, okay, I'll just do like 6 issues, and once I grabbed onto her and started writing her, I just completely fell in love with her character. To write a character that is so wears their heart on their sleeve so completely, and you can have her drinking and telling dirty jokes and talking about wanting to get laid, and as well as all the fighting, the sword fighting and things, and then when I decided that I wanted to tell a story of how she went the direction she did, and so I put her in a situation with another female character who they were imprisoned together, and when they got out, one kind of went to the dark side with her experience, and Sonja decided to do good with her from her experience, and I wanted to contrast that. And so I'd sit down and I'd say, well, I'm just going to write a few pages, or I'm going to spend a couple hours doing this, and then I'll get back to my other work. And I'd look up and it'd be like 12 pages later, and I'd be like, whoa, it's just such a delight to. And some of the most feminist things that I've written is in that Red Sonja run.
Is there any chance that you might want to return to her at any point down the road? Is that something you're interested in?
Well, I still am writing Red Sonja. It's just that I'm writing a video game, and so yeah, they'll announce that when it gets closer to time that everything is programmed and ready. But that's really fun to have a video game dialogue, kind of in her voice, and and then I do like short things as well, and get involved in. I've done a crossover since the Red Sonja book. I may be doing something else soon that we can't talk about yet. So I really haven't left the character, but I'm not writing the mainstream book. Amy Chu's doing that and doing a fantastic job.
So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about Buffy, because I am an enormous Buffy fan. Are you a fan yourself of Buffy?
I really haven't seen much Buffy, but what I am a fan of is because people ask me these questions and they talk to me about it, and also my son saw some Buffy growing up, and I think it was one of those kind of game changers too, because it had a fully rounded character that got out and did good things for people, even if it might be reluctant sometimes. And I think that just having those things be successful and be in front of so many eyes is really important. The exposure is really important.
Now, this isn't my place per se, but I would really love it, and I'm sure a lot of your fans would really love it, if you would write something Buffy, anything. As far as I know, you haven't. So
I don't know. Right now, it's hard to think about more and more projects like that because I'm busy doing creator-owned things. I've got some television stuff going on, video game writing, DC writing. I'm doing Wonder Woman Conan crossover, just lots of really fun projects, so I don't know.
Well, I'm hopeful. So Crosswind, right? You're working with Cat Staggs. How's that going?
Oh my gosh, I could not be happier with the product or with Kat's work. I think people are really going to see what an actual genius she is. I mean, we've all seen her beautiful likeness covers and we know she has talent and all that, but this is something where she really had to get in and, you know, do the interiors and tell the story and create the look of it and get these, and it's not easy. This book is not easy art-wise, just because we have to, you know, we have two characters that have completely switched lives, but they've kept some of their mannerisms when they moved over to the other body, and so she's got to keep all that straight, convey that visually, and it's just absolutely incredible. And we've been just selling and getting the Crosswind into people's hands all weekend. The first 4 are out, and the feedback's really good, and we just couldn't be happier.
So I've been coming to Comic-Con for a long time. One of the things that I've noticed a lot more is women creators. There are so many more women creators, so much more content that feels that it's not just tailored to men. And I think you see the result of that in the crowds. Do you feel that that's the case?
Oh yeah, it's changed a lot since I started going. I'd say when I started going to cons, I would say it was probably 80% male, 20% female. And now we just have, 50-50 plus, there's just everything comes to cons. And that's really important because we have more representation of the material, more variety of creators, more variety of stories that are being told. And we need to open up this industry. It needs to be wide open to stay, relevant and to stay functional and financially viable. We need every single reader we can get and every single creator that has a new, exciting, different story to tell or art to show. And I'm excited by that. I think it's great. And also, don't get me wrong, but I love the fact that the male attendees are enjoying these products just as much as the female attendees are. And so I wouldn't say that like most of my readers are female or most are male. I think it's a pretty good mix and a pretty good mix of people from all over the world too. And that's what I love. I want to have an open industry, comics for everyone.
I totally agree, and I think that a lot of what you have done, both in the books and outside of the books, on Twitter, being so vocal, has helped a lot, and so thank you for that.
Oh, well, I don't know any other way to be. It's just, I just have this certain, I just know that this industry could be more, and, I think each little gate that gets lowered or smashed is, one step closer to what the potential is, because this industry should not be limited by anything. If you can imagine it, you can do it, and you can get it seen nowadays. And so I'm just like, please, if you guys have, anybody out there has a new idea, a new way of doing, new way of thinking, just do it. Get it online. Don't worry about if a publisher is going to like it or not. It'll find an audience if it's good.
So last question for you. I'm a big Cyclops fan, and I know that you are not the biggest lover of Cyclops, but I have one question. Is it heat vision or are they lasers? How do Cyclops powers work?
I don't care. Either or is fine. No, I think, Cyclops can be okay, but it's just kind of been written in a little bit boring a lot of times. Not all the time, but I'd like to see him do something with it.
Maybe one day you'll be able to change him too.
I don't know how Marvel would feel about that.
Well, that's going to do it. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Gail, for taking the time to speak to us. I really, really appreciate that. Where can people find you if they want to read your awesome tweets and different things like that?
Yeah, if you go to @Gail Simone, you can, get on my Twitter. You can read that, and there'll usually be links if you want a list of my other works, or if you're looking for who I'm represented by and all that stuff. Start at Twitter, and then you can follow the trail.
So that's going to do it. I'm Sean Bartley for the Comics Pals. We are at the Comics Pals wherever your social media is sold. Stay tuned for the rest of our coverage of New York Comic Con 2017. Thanks for joining us. Take care, guys.